got a number of committee members here, and Jim Streeter, our town historian. So we're all here, and I realized that I really didn't have any background information other than that you used to work at the sub base, and now you work at EB, and you've done a lot of really great murals in the area.
Correct.
So I
Thank you.
don't have anything else, and also that the discussions you and I have had, you have a lot of very positive energy and great ideas, but I don't know anything else about you. But this meeting is really kind of all about you. So Jamie went and looked at the Bridge Market, and he had already sent me a couple of ideas. So he has a lot of ideas, and you want to just talk, Jamie, or start with give your impression of the situation, and then we'll go from there.
If you guys just want to ask questions, I'm good with that. As far as like background or murals, right? I've lived in a couple different communities that have tackled the project that you guys are trying to tackle, so I've seen it done a couple different ways successfully. And I just lost my pen. That's funny. But yeah, I'm just open for questions, and then I'll tell you guys information based off of that. I guess would probably be the easiest way.
What did you think of that location?
I didn't catch that.
What did you think of that location that was suggested, first of all?
It's a little off the road, but it's a good starting place, right? And it's kind of got the that shingle tile type of siding, so it wouldn't be too much of a problem with stuff like that. I recommend not getting very detailed with it, because it'll get blurry or mucky with the way those pieces overlap.
Yeah. It's about 8 feet by 25, Jamie. And yeah, I agree with you. It's an odd thing because it's not flat. But we had kind of decided that we wanted to do something of a historical bent, because we've got a lot of history in town, and it tends to be apolitical, so we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. What kind of thoughts do you have about that? Anything come to mind?
So I understand the importance of doing like a historical piece. I just suggest that keep in mind the things that you're competing with when you put the mural up, right? Like most people can't not look at their phone for more than a minute. So if it's not something like really captivating and attention getting, people are just gonna drive right on by, probably continuing to look at their GPS, or if they're a passenger, stare down at the phone, and the mural is going to go missed unless it's something that's really an attention grabber, right? And another thing that you guys are competing with is like the popularity of the area. Groton is traditionally like a working people's town, so a lot of people are just passing through, right? There's not a lot of, I don't think of a lot of tourism with Groton.
No, there isn't.
It will be.
What did you have in mind? Anything that come to mind that might be suitable?
So actually, like it is kind of historical, but it's more working backwards probably than what you guys want to do. I would say like attack the youth first, right? So if you do a mural that gets their attention, then the murals you do after that, you'll be more than likely to retain their attention. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but you actually have a world famous athlete from Groton, Connecticut, and you still have the facility that he pretty much developed his professional career on right there in that area of Groton. And that's Brian Anderson. He's a world renowned skateboarder, and he grew up skateboarding right there in Sutton Park. and there's a couple other guys that are also grew up with him, but Brian Anderson's one of the more notable world famous athletes from Groton, Connecticut, right? So that location, or a location being close to Sutton Park, I think you would generate a lot of the interest of like that youth, right? Even Brian himself would probably get involved. He visits Groton pretty often. I'm not personal friends with him, but I know people that are. So I say if you were to tackle that subject matter first, and then you can work backwards in history, and stick with things that people know. And then when you get to the things that people don't know, like the one that you guys currently want to do is, like, I think Jim said that's over 100 years old. Most people don't have a clue that that ever existed, right? So if you go from present day back, I think you'll have a good way of getting people's attention and say, hey, if you think all that's cool, let me tell you about this.
That's an interesting thing. I hadn't even heard of him before, frankly. So yeah, that is pretty amazing. How about a military theme at all?
I think a military theme would be appropriate in the right location, because that's another big thing that Groton's known for, right? The play on submarines, right? I mean,
Yep.
we claim to be, world famous submarine base, right? We were the first. And so yeah, I think a submarine related mural would be really good, or just a general military mural that encompasses all branches of the service, because you have men and women from Groton that have joined the military in all branches. So that'd be a great way to pay tribute to the folks from the community that left to go play their part for the nation. So
Okay.
Jamie, have you, I'm,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Jamie, have you been through, I'm just curious to know, I'm sure you have been through Westerly to see all of the murals that were created there. And do you have any comments on those?
Actually, I have not.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
just personally, I think a lot of those are just what I consider beautifying the town and kind of advertising the town a little bit. Very simple things, but if you have a chance, just drive through Westerly and look at those as well. The other question I have was, how would you go about this? Let's say you have that wall that's at the Bridge Market, and we all agree on what should be painted there. How do you go about this? Do you sketch it out? Do you photograph it? What do you do?
For me, I tackle all my projects from a graphic design perspective, because that's what I'm trained to do. So I create everything digitally first, and then I just use a projector from there and project it onto the wall at nighttime. It just crayons work best. Something that's not going to leave like a chemical deposit on the wall that would affect the paint or the surface really works best. So crayons work really great for that. And you just draw it off the wall based off of the projection, and then you just start painting in the layers.
Mhm.
It's a really simple process.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. Keeping things simple for murals is really one of the best policies. A lot of times, even with, like I said, I have graphic design training. A lot of times people want to add a lot of elements to tell a story, and it overcomplicates it, and the story and the message gets lost. So if you can keep things real simple and to the core, it's the best way to tell a story and retain interest.
I agree.
It was interesting. Aileen had a wonderful suggestion of adding, is it QRs to the mural? Is that
Right.
what it's called?
And
QR,
embedding
yes.
a QR code so
Mhm.
that whatever the story the mural was telling, somebody could, take a picture on their phone and get more information.
So I personally, I wouldn't paint a QR code into a mural, because that's like a technical thing, and it needs to be highly accurate for it to work. But what I would suggest with other uh, committees that I've worked with for painting murals in towns, a lot of the times those committees will have sponsors from the community, and they'll pay for some form of a placard digitally created in the area of the mural that'll have a QR code on it. Just there in New London, they actually have an app to walk the New London murals, and as you walk it and you pop in the location, I think it gives you a brief story of each mural, and there's sound bites from the artists that go along with it.
Okay. Well, when we talked about originally the horse park, I believe you had an idea about if we picked a historical theme, trying to partner with the library and having the library show some of the history that the mural might get people interested in. And I thought that was a really interesting idea, especially for something like that, the horse thing, which I think is less, the more we thought about it, the horse park seemed a little less like something we'd want to do. But if there was anything, we could certainly link it into the library. I mean, with the library, maybe. It's especially when it first opened up.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. And kind of combining events in the community really have an impact on the community more. Like if it's if the mural's completed in the summertime and you have a farmer's market there, or a local band playing, things of that nature, they can all work together to have a better impact on the community, to bring people out for that event. So somebody may not be interested in the mural, but they may be interested in a local band playing, and then they catch the presence of all of them together, right? So you can utilize different forms of art to help promote each other.
Okay.
If I could jump in, I like your idea about the sports figure Brian Anderson, but you may not know, Jimmy, or maybe you do, is that probably within a year and a half or 2 years, we're going to be developing a Groton Sale Memorial Park at the library, which is very close to the little rink down there. So I don't know if it would be too busy to include two things. One, you would have a sale of a submarine, say you paint a sale of a submarine, and then have the Brian Anderson thing together. You've got two subjects, but they're both in the same location, bringing attention to where those locations are.
Is there a wall in Sutton Park that could be painted?
I'm not familiar with one there. I do know like the skate park itself often gets painted, usually by like other local community groups go in there and decide they want to paint it, or maybe just some local artists that are trying to, develop a skill set, right? So a lot of paint does go over there, but I don't think there's a wall over there. One of the suggestions I had for you guys as a group, if you wanted to tackle the mural thing and add murals to the community in a way that creates value to the community and also promotes local artists, is it's like a more long-term project where you would kind of run some advertisements to seek out businesses and maybe other pieces of city property that would be prospects for a mural, right? And then once you have, say you get 12 locations that say, hey, we'd like to be a part of this Groton Beautification Committee mural project, then at that point you start seeking out artists and artist proposals. And so you have like 12 spots and maybe you get 24 artists. That means you link up like a little profile of the artist with their projected piece of art that they want to do for the mural. And then you let the business owners sit down and kind of review all those, and they pick an artist that they like or a piece of art that they like, right? And that's an easy way to kind of distribute art to the locations. And then you can have one day of the summer where you have like a Groton Beautification Committee mural kickoff Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, and all 12 artists at different locations throughout Groton start painting their murals at the same time. And then Sunday afternoon at 3, all the murals are completed, and there's another little wrap up celebration, right? And so you get a lot of work done in a really quick time, and it's really just the legwork of the planning that makes that successful.
Mhm.
Where do we get these muralists? We've had a problem just locating people, period.
Um, I guess talking to me is pretty good because I know a lot of them. Some of them are going to come with a higher price though, but there's a lot of people out there.
Sure. Okay, great. The other thing is we do have other locations that are available. Parks and Rec, for instance, in town, in the new community building, we call it, which is over by the town hall. They have a big space over there, maybe a couple actually. So that's another thing that we could partner with the town. And so that's a real viable thing. And it's a different location. Are you familiar with where that might be? Over by town hall, that big building behind it used to be a high school. I mean, a junior
Oh
high
yeah, I'm
school.
familiar with that. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
So they've got some spaces over there. And I was just
Those are
talking.
brick walls. Well, so I guess what I'm really wondering though, because we were gonna start, what we'd really like to do is start with one, and I believe it's probably going to have be received in a positive way. So which way do we go? Do we go more with the youth to try to get more interest? Do we go with the history? Can we encompass both? With the sale coming, had you heard, Jamie, about that sale, the sale memorial that's coming? It's on Route 117 across, right near the Groton Public Library.
I am familiar with it. I've been familiar with that project probably since its inception. I think it's been in the planning phases for at least 6 years now, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, so that's of course right kind of around the corner. And of course on Bridge Market, there's a lot of parking there, and that elementary school is being retired, and that we're hoping that might end up being a large field for youth sports there at that. So it just seems like the perfect spot. And when I was talking with everybody about this, I really thought historical. And then when I talk with you, when you talk about trying to get more talk and more youth involved, and how people like to have their picture taken at, sometimes in front of the mural, or you mentioned, people maybe even, taking pictures for a portfolio or something in front of it. That really gets more buzz, and it's such an accessible spot because of the height. So I'm just excited if we just could come up with an idea. And I'm really glad, Jim, that you that you feel that, I'd never heard of Brian Anderson. I obviously know the skate park's right over there. And I also really like the idea of not just the Navy, but other the other branches of the military, because you made a great point. People from Groton go to many other different Coast Guard too is big here, obviously. So
right. Some other things, there's other committees that you guys could also plan with, like EB has a veterans committee. I'm sure they would love to help. I don't know in what ways they would be able to, but if it's a mural that's going to be supportive or recognize all military members, that might be something that they would want to be involved in.
Mhm.
Interactive murals do tend to gain or be more received in the community because they're interactive, right? So like where there's something painted in there that you can interact with, like like if you can pretend like you're swimming under the ocean, or there's a spot where you stand and it puts a shark fin on your back or angel wings or something like that. Those kind of murals are really popular, even though they seem kind of hokey. People really enjoy interacting with them.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of tricks in the bag for mural painting, and really once you have a direction of where you want to go, then we can kind of stir that bag up and see what kind of creative processes we can throw at it to make it work and be the most interactive or gain the most attention, right? The Submarine Memorial, is that gonna be like, it's gonna look like a submarine sail painted, or they want to paint something unique on the submarine sail to make it stand out even more?
It's just going to be the sail and the tail.
In traditional black?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so.
Yes, absolutely. It's the actual sail from the USS Groton. It's quite large. And then the rudder of it. And they're going to stretch it out and have a berm of flowers and stuff like this. So it'll look like the actual length and size of a submarine. I'm on that committee. In fact, I'm the treasurer of it, which why I don't know. But it would be what I think. Another thing just popped to my mind. It's interesting. We are a maritime community. We all know that, going way back in history and all the way up to now. And we are the home of at least 3, possibly 4 lighthouses. Now, whether or not that theme would be a good thing to do, and they're recognized by the community, and we do have, and I know because I was involved in restoring a lighthouse here, we do have a lot of tourists that come in to visit these particular lighthouses.
That's another great strength, I think, to exploit with the murals as a possibility. For the submarines, I've seen several of those through different places that I've been in the military, where it's the parts of the submarine and the berm to create the real life size of it. Those are really cool.
Yes.
Were any of you guys on the committee for the Nautilus when I think it was their 150th anniversary, maybe 6-7 years ago?
I think it was a little longer ago than that.
Oh, Jamie, I don't know if you're confusing that with the Submarine Century. The submarine base celebrated their 100th anniversary a few years ago.
So it wasn't that one. It was one before that. I think it was something with the Nautilus. So it was when Marion was the mayor of New London, and they had a little art show down on the waterfront by Puffins. It was like an outdoor art show, and all the artwork was local artists, submitted pieces and got accepted by a board. And they were all submarine related. And some people had painted the Nautilus. But that would be a great page already from the Groton community history with the art and the submarine force to say, hey, we got to sell the USS Groton. Let's see your best USS Groton or submarine related artwork. And we'll show it at this unveiling of this feature we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about the everything around here has got the Pequot name in it. Do you have any thoughts on putting something together with like colonial times or settlers and Indians that wouldn't be off-putting at all?
I think with the current status of our socialism, or not really socialism, but like how we socialize, and
Political correctness.
political correctness is another one. The combination of those things are we're at a very interesting point in our current history with those things, and I think that one might be a little iffy to tackle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Could
Well,
I,
there's a big one in Westerly that worked out well with the Native Americans and their canoes and stuff. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, there is a way of honoring them where they don't have to get into the current fracas.
Yeah, I'm honestly afraid like you might have to need a lawyer to tackle that one, because you just never, people are so sensitive these days, and even when it could be something meant to be really positive and add value to the community, one person can interpret it differently, and art is definitely in the eye of the beholder, and that's all it's going to take to start a lot of legal trouble, right? So
Well, also that at Westerly, there were a number of murals. I think if we're picking one mural, that might yeah, cause some hurt feelings, maybe.
Did Westerly have a mural that was controversial?
I don't believe so, but they had, how many did we decide, Dana, on how many murals?
It was like 12 or 15, something like that. It was between Westerly and Pawcatuck.
Right, Westerly and Pawcatuck. They had quite a few, and so they had lots of different, things.
All different things that had to do with the history in the area. And one of them was, it wasn't the Pequots, it was one of the other Native Americans. I always get them confused, so I'm not sure which one Jimmy called.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a really sensitive subject. So although that would be like a really great subject matter for a mural, it's probably one that, as the city of Groton and a beautification committee representing that, I would recommend steering away from it.
Yeah, well, especially for our first one.
So if we started to do several, yeah, it might be different.
But could I mention something? Or just say something? I think it might be beneficial to us if we were to have a joint meeting with the Parks and Rec, because I think his idea of the skateboard gentleman would be excellent for the community center. It would play in a little bit more, and it's right in the same area, and which would give us a little bit. Well, I think it would just be good if we talked. I think that idea is absolutely wonderful, and but I don't know if it's exactly what we wanted to have on the side of that building, but it's perfect for the community center.
I agree, you're right on that.
Maybe if we could have a joint meeting, it would probably be beneficial to all of us rather than have us each doing a project and not knowing what the other is.
Could you make us up a quick sketch of that, Jamie, of Brian Anderson, or something that would give us an idea of what the final product would look like without putting too much into it?
I wouldn't mind making like just a generic sketch of something for you guys, but I also don't want to like monopolize on all the murals in Groton. Like as I've gotten older, like my biggest goal is I like finding the artists that always wanted to paint a mural, but they don't know how to do it, or they don't know who to talk to. And then I kind of get them under my wing and I go, all right, kid, this is how you do it. This is who you talk to. Here's your wall. Here's the subject. Let's see what you got.
That's great. That would be great. Yeah.
Because if we can find some 20-year-old kids that really want to paint murals and educate them on the process, then you got a mural artist local for the next 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, Jamie did mention he really likes to mentor people at this time in his career. Well, so I would.
So I could draft something up, but I wouldn't want it to be a proposal. I would just want it to be like a concept art.
Sure.
Yeah.
From like a graphic design standpoint, right?
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great.
You probably.
I do know a lot of local artists. There's actually another. He's not from Groton. There's another artist. He goes by the name RC. His first name's Ron. I can't remember his last name. He's from the Hartford area. He actually works for Disney, and then he has a part-time job where he travels the world painting murals. So I can get you his contact information. He'd be another great person that if you had one of his murals in Connecticut, his home state, I think that would be a really exceptional amount of news to put out into the community, right?
Right. Yeah, excellent.
We were wondering if there are, I know you did some murals at the sub base, which I know I can't get there, but are there other local things that we could go and look at? I know you did something in New London. Did you do more than one thing in New London?
Yes, there's several in New London. Trying to think if there's any other random ones around. For the sub base, I would say like if you wanted to see those, maybe contacting Marion and seeing if she could do like a mural tour of the base, because I know she has access to the base. Okay. She's kind of already got that City of Groton affiliation, or maybe even with the current mayor. Is it Keith?
Keith, yeah.
Keith, he also, I think, is prior military, so I think it might be very easy to contact them, and then that would also kind of be your way to get the sub base involved in some of the murals.
Okay.
Okay.
And then could you, I
How
know.
has, just tell me, how has New London all of a sudden popped up all of these murals on the backside of Bank Street? I mean, it's like, they're just amazing. They're just absolutely amazing.
That's the business owners.
How have they done that?
That's the business owners taking pride in the community and taking ownership of their spaces, and just wanting to make it look like there's something more there, right? A lot of those business owners, David Precca, Rod Cornish, Bill Cornish, those guys want to draw people away from the water to their restaurants and their establishments. So the best way to do that, Barry's Ice Cream was another one. You put those murals on the wall and people go look to see them, and then they go, oh, well, they got food here, let's go in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, I would love to get that started in our community, because there's some areas that are a little tired.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I would say that wasn't a city movement in New London. That was just the business owners taking ownership of their outdoor spaces and seeing what they could do creatively.
Okay, wow.
So that's one of the long-term things that I wrote down, is that as a committee, you guys could put out some kind of media piece or say, hey, to the community, we're looking for local business owners with outdoor wall space that would like a community, like a mural, and would like to sponsor as a group with other businesses like-minded.
That's
right?
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Idea.
And then, like I said, once you find,
I mean, is it
the
something
location,
you work with?
very easy to find the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the Chamber of Commerce might be a good link for us.
Rotary Club, any place where like-minded business owners and people are getting together. Those would probably be some of your better places to speak at and get an assessment of, is there places in the community that are looking for things.
Mm-hmm.
They may already be looking and they just don't have the right network or avenue to make those connections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
What was the one that you said, Nancy? Rotary
Chamber
of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. Yeah.
Yep. I think there's like the Mystic Business Association, right? Or Greater Area Mystic, something like
Yeah,
that.
Right.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, I'm a volunteer for them, so I can talk to the president down there about it.
We
Even
just
maybe
want
to
to, we're trying to do this for downtown Groton. We're not trying to do it for downtown Mystic. We're trying to
Right.
draw people to Groton proper.
Yep, exactly. But a lot of people belong from Groton.
Right. Okay.
So
What
I
other
think what
questions
it
do we
is
have
that,
here?
that Mystic business community, that kind of represents all of the Groton area businesses as well, not just Mystic, because I
Right.
think it's like the greater area. So there's probably some Stonington businesses thrown in there, as well as maybe Ledyard and other places. But yeah, if they address you at the meeting, you could always tell them, hey, we're just focusing on Groton, but you can give them recommendations on how they could start their own beautification committees, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's like Greater Mystic Business or something like that. Okay, I'll figure that one out. What's it called, Bruce?
It's called the Greater Mystic Area Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And I can take care of that for you. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to write it down for my notes, for my minutes.
Sure.
Okay. All right. You guys, what other questions do we have? Jim, what are your thoughts? I'm wondering.
What's the smallest size building that you would do?
It's really like I mean, some of the ones in the sub base are probably a half the size of sheet of plywood, so like maybe 4x4 square.
Okay,
So
because we do have a lot of small stores in the area, you know, oftentimes, like if you go to New London, you see the size of the buildings in New London. We really don't have that many that are available to us, but I think if we got to the smaller stores, they might be receptive to it.
Yeah.
that's a good possibility. And some of the newer artists working on a smaller scale that's larger than maybe canvas that they have access to is still a huge step up for them in the learning process.
Okay. So Jim, you don't see a certain theme being important? We could do one-offs? Jim?
Which Jim are you talking to?
Oh,
Jim Fee or Jim Streeter?
Jim Streeter. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
uh,
Do you
Go ahead,
think-
ask that question again, Cindy. I believe
I'm wondering if you think we should have any type of theme, or if it's just fine to do one here, one there.
Well,
Without-
I think we all agree, we've got so much diversity as far as subjects that we can do. And maybe, well, Leanne, you remember, maybe everybody else on the panel remembers when we did remember we painted the submarines during the submarine century?
Yeah.
And the different themes that came about on those submarines was fantastic. And it was a large variety. So you'd have a large variety of, and maybe the specific or the owner of the building would like a specific theme, historical theme, local theme, maritime theme, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was Joy Supples. I would recommend contacting her on how she did the call for artists to get that network of artists established to have that many. She did a really good job on that. So she's somebody that could be an asset to you guys.
Yeah. She
Okay.
came to a couple of our meetings, I think, at the beginning.
You did, yeah. Could you give us a couple of names that we could use, or would you like to contact some to contact us, or how would you like to do it, Jamie? To go along with what you suggested earlier.
Well, I was, hold on one second, Jamie. I was hoping that the first one, as long as we could all agree, that Jamie might be able to do the first one on Bridge Market.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he's okay with that, we'd be thrilled.
And then,
I can definitely do one, and what'll happen is, like, when I do one, a lot of people will, generally when I'm painting, a lot of people will show up to ask questions, and a lot of the times there are other artists that want to know like how I had that opportunity. So it's very easy to go ahead and make that connection with you guys when that happens.
right, yeah, he had explained that to me earlier, and so and obviously he's very interested in, but yeah, not doing it all himself. Also, this is on the side. You have a full-time job already, right?
Correct.
Correct, yes.
Well, we can get people to help you too. I would certainly be happy to help you. As an artist, I can do that too.
Yeah, they always tend to go really awesome when it's like a community project, and you just kind of have like a work crew show up, and they're like, what color do I paint and where? And it's just like a giant paint by numbers, and everybody has a really great time doing it.
Yep.
Is there any type of, do you put anything on the mural to make it last longer?
No, I like the bare exterior paint. It has additives made into the paint that help protect it from UV rays and weather and things like that. The Jimi Hendrix mural that I did in New London, I painted that in 2014, and it's just now starting to show signs of cracking and peeling.
Yeah, I like that one. That's one of the better ones down there for sure.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
his. I'm sorry, how long ago did you do that? I'm sorry.
2014.
2014. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good long while. And then when it gets to the end of its life, do you either spruce it up or do you just do something different? Or is it all dependable?
That's really up to the committee. I would say for me as a mural artist, I know like everything has a life expectancy, right? So as an artist, I personally would not be offended if someone else was given the opportunity to paint something new. Some artists would be very offended that somebody's removing their mark on the local community. So you might want to have some kind of like an agreement drafted up where like, hey, you paint this mural, but the life expectancy and the care of this mural is left up to the committee members on what they want to do.
Good idea.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I was thinking when Jim mentioned smaller areas, can you hear me all right on this computer? I know it's
Go loud, actually.
Yeah, very loud.
with it, so I don't know. You made me think when you mentioned small areas. I've seen a lot of small areas done with the top wall idea. So if you had a store and maybe they all have a window, and then you add some trunk doors where you have other windows with customers looking out, or goods of the window being shown, and that. So that can be a fun way of doing small murals, specifically for going with whatever that particular business is. And the other thing is, I've seen walls where just decoratively, there's some wonderful abstract designs that have gone on there, or patterns, if you just want to liven up a wall and do a wonderful, abstract kind of designs and things. So there are a lot of different ways we could go, depending on the particular place.
Right.
Definitely. Some of the communities that I've lived in or been a part of artistically, they have done, I told you, Cindy, about they would have artists just paint pieces of plywood and attach them to the fence lines on roadways where the inconsistency of the fence panels on the backside of a residence was kind of an eyesore. Even some of the areas that get high traffic, the sidewalk squares, they painted those as little interactive murals.
Wow.
Utility boxes, right? The large green utility boxes. I've even seen like fire extinguishers or the hydrant connections. Any of those like utilitarian type of things in the community that often go overlooked. Those are great small objects that can be painted and brought attention to say, hey, look at our community. Look how much we care. We're making this a unique item to stand out in our infrastructure.
Yeah, we tried that. Unfortunately, they all belong to the state of Connecticut, and they're not interested.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's too bad. Yeah, I would assume that maybe the railroad probably owns a lot of things like that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down that area. But there's options. You kind of just gotta run them down. I would say don't lose focus on it when you get a no. And the best thing is just have a plan and keep it simple and follow through with it.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yes, it does. This has been great. I gotta have a council meeting, so you guys go on and I'll catch up soon. Thanks so much for you coming, Jimmy and Jimmy.
Yep.
Bye now.
See ya.
See you, Leanne.
All right.
Thanks, Jamie. I've got to go too. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a
Lots
great
to
time
think about.
probably in this in the meeting. So thank you guys for having me. And then Cindy, if you have any more follow-up questions, we can do a phone call or email to take care of those.
Okay, awesome, Jamie.
All right.
We can't tell you how much we appreciate your time and pulling over on the side of the road. I hope the traffic is better for you for the
It
rest of
looks
the
like it's gonna be
afternoon.
now.
Yeah, all right. All right, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks.
You're welcome,
Thank you,
guys.
Jamie.
Thank you, Bruce.
So
See
I'm
you
gonna,
guys.
6:24, I guess I get to adjourn it and I'm not gonna even, I'm assuming that's all right with everyone, right?
It is.
Because I know everybody else has
Do
to
we have
go.
another
right?
scheduled meeting?
I'm sorry?
Do we have another scheduled meeting?
Not
Cindy?
until October 18th.
Oh,
Yeah, we've got it quite a ways, so.
maybe we could maybe we could form a small committee that could meet, aside from our regular meetings, just a handful of people who can talk about this and maybe bring the suggestions to the 18th, the October meeting.
Right. I need you artsy people to get together because I'm not the artsy
Right.
one. So Dana and
Bruce,
Yeah,
Bruce,
that's fine
right?
with me. I'll go for that, sure.
Yeah,
And I think Jim, with the historical angle of it and the postcards and the ideas that, you know, murals are there already if we just look at them.
Right.
Um,
be good.
I kind of like the last portion that Jamie brought up was the smaller portion, and I'm not sure if it was Dana or not, but there's painting murals on a board and put them in a window of a store. It's not permanent, but it's attractive, and it may bring people into, you know, let's go look at the murals, and like I say, in London, let's go look at the murals. Well, let's go in while we're here. Let's go have a bite to eat. Or
Right.
let's go shopping into the store. I kind of like that, because we don't have a lot of large buildings with a lot of you know, large space to paint a very large mural.
right. It's
I
funny.
I liked his idea of hanging art on a fence to hide areas behind
Go
the
downstairs.
fence
It's
that
too
we don't want to look at.
that long.
Right, yeah, it's the other, I have
One,
that
you know,
area I thought about was when you're driving down Fort Hill Road and,
iPad off.
Okay, I gotta take off. Why
Okay.
don't you get to me when you want to put something together, Cindy? I'll be happy to be on
Okay.
the committee.
all right, awesome.
Right, and
Thank you,
I'd be
Bruce.
happy
Enjoy
to
your next
send-
Planning
meeting.
and zoning coming up, so I gotta.
Right, I know you got something else, right?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Bruce.
to see everybody. Good to see
Nice
you
seeing you,
again.
Bruce.
Bye.
Yeah, okay,
Thanks, Cindy. I'm
yeah. Oh, so good
leaving.
to see you, Nancy. Take it easy, don't move too fast.
I'm gonna be bowing
Good to
out
be
too.
with you.
All right,
I'll be
all
in-
right. Thank you so
Since-
much for coming, Jim. I know you were up in Vermont, right?
Yeah, I am. We're coming back the end of the month, but if you want me at the next meeting, so
I
just
don't
let
know
me
if
know, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think what I'll do, Jim, I noticed since you weren't on, I may just have Lisa Hilton, who works in the town, just put you, just routinely have you as part of someone who gets our communications. That
That's
doesn't mean you
fine.
have to attend,
I understand.
you can attend.
Well, I had offered to Leanne and Rachel at one time, if you wanted me to be on the committee, fine.
Right,
But
right.
let's leave it off just the way you just did. That's perfect.
yeah, so you can have your input, but you don't have to be there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for attending.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, wow, that was fun, huh?
It's very
Okay.
interesting, actually.
Yeah, I once again, I always feel like, what's the next step?
No.
So,
Well, you've asked Jamie to submit kind of a sketch, so that's a good thing for next thing.
Right.
I like his idea of trying to talk to business owners as far as, you know, getting them to want to have something joint or murals on their
Right.
place. So I think Jim Streeter, I think, misunderstood me. His thing might work, but I was talking about small murals that are, and you know, with the Trump areas, whereas
Yes.
yeah, right. So I mean, it would
Yeah.
like, look like another window where it wasn't a window, but
right,
you could
Right,
either display
creative and fun.
exactly. You could either display goods from the store, make it fun, or you could make it look like people were looking right out of the window too, or something, whatever. But it would attract people's eyes, you know, in a different way.
Yeah,
But you can do that for small spaces. You know, it's sort of fun and small.
right, or almost, you know, the one that I think is calling out is right next to, there's a brick building that has a cute little cafe and Ryan's Pub, and now a new smoke shop. It's right on the corner, right next to the Shell station, actually right next to the Bridge Market.
Okay, right.
Have a nice small brick wall, and wouldn't that be cute if you looked over there and it looked like a Trump loyal, can't have a hard time saying that, like almost like you were looking in and there was people inside eating or something, you know?
Exactly. That would be,
Yeah. Or even, you know, we're trying to plant all these flowers. What if there was a mural of a flower box? You know, you can't tell us we can't do that.
Right. Abilities.
Anyways, okay, all right.
So I know I'm scheduled was for October 11th, but that's out. It's October 18th, right?
Correct, yeah,
Mhm.
because of Columbus Day.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, so I looked ahead and I don't know, in California, we didn't have Columbus Day off, but I think they do still in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Or- so I figured-
Yes, we do.
Okay.
People's
Do
Day.
you have it off too, Tabitha?
Yeah, we have it off.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that's why why we're not doing it on the 11th. So that is a long time, but I don't know even if this can be, how, maybe this is a spring thing. I'm not sure. I mean, it would be so nice to get it done because I think once it's done, then people start talking about it, right?
Generates more interest and work, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be a spring thing because we have some work to do to figure out, are we going to do one with the potential of several others? Are we going to do a big weekend or big 2-day affair with several locations or not? Can we do that now, or do we have to wait a little bit to organize all of that? How many people in town do we get involved? Yeah.
If we have to wait a while to do any kind of a group thing, I think if we can, as Cindy, as you said, if we can at least kick off and get the one done, I think it raises some more interest in maybe then setting up a more of a group thing, get further down the line. Yeah.
Right, especially if it was smaller and it was reasonable and businesses could afford it. I love that idea about businesses deciding on their own, oh, let's do something. So, that was great that actually was the person, they meant that individual business owners were taking it upon themselves. So that was excellent. So, all right, excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right.
Okay, have a great evening.
Thank you guys. Dana, how are you feeling?
Good night.
Oh, much better.
Hi, Tabitha.
Better coming along.
Good night.
You're coming along. Okay, good. All right.
Well, if I go off, I'm going to end the meeting for everyone. So,
Okay, thank you, Tabitha, so much, dearest.
all right.
We'll
Thank
see
you, Cindy.
hopefully, fingers crossed, Thursday morning.
Yes.
Okay, all right, bye.
Bye, guys.